Title: He came home a hero. They tried to steal his house and break his son. Jack Harlan stepped off the Greyhound at 2:17 p.m. on a sweltering Thursday in mid-August. The bus doors hissed shut behind him like a final exhale. Heat rose from the cracked asphalt in visible waves, carrying the smell of diesel and scorched rubber. Liam's small hand was already damp in his grip, 5-year-old fingers locked tight. No one waited at the edge of Willow Creek. No folded flags, no handshakes from the VFW, no cluster of neighbors holding homemade signs, just a rusted metal bench bolted to concrete and a faded billboard missing half its letters. Welcome to Willow Creek, Pop, 48. The last 2 digits had peeled away years ago. Jack adjusted the duffel strap cutting into his shoulder. Liam pressed his cheek against Jack's thigh, eyes scanning the empty street as if waiting for something to appear. Which way is home, Daddy? Jack pointed west toward the slow brown bend of the Cedar River. End of Elm Street, same place Grandma lived. They started walking, boots on pavement, small sneakers dragging. Every third person they passed, old men on porches, women watering flower boxes, looked once, then deliberately turned their heads. One woman in yoga pants actually stepped off the sidewalk and crossed to the opposite side, phone already to her ear. Jack felt the reflex snap into place, spine rigid, eyes 12 o'clock, jaw set. The same posture that had carried him through 2 tours, through sandstorms and night patrols, and the moment the world turned white around an IED. Don't show the shake, never show the shake. The house waited at the dead end of Elm like something left behind after a fight. Clapboard siding curled in long gray strips, one shutter dangled by a single screw. The porch listed hard to the left. Jack's mother used to hang red geraniums in the window boxes. The pots remained, cracked plastic filled with dead stems and spider silk. He set the duffel down, the key stuck in the lock. He jiggled once, twice. The door gave with a splintering groan. Inside hit like a memory he hadn't asked for. Mildew, old newsprint, a faint metallic tang like dried blood. Dust motes turned slow in the shafts of afternoon light. Liam froze on the threshold, camel stuffy clutched to his chest. Is this ours now? Jack swallowed dust. Yeah, buddy, this is ours. He didn't say the word home. It felt too big for the space between them. They carried the single duffel upstairs. One mattress remained in the back bedroom, yellowed but intact. Jack made a nest of blankets on the living room couch for Liam. The boy curled into it immediately, knees to chin, camel tucked under his arm. Jack sat on the bare floorboards, back against the wall, watching his son's chest rise and fall. Outside, cicadas screamed in waves. Inside, silence pressed heavier than 40 pounds of plate carrier. He pulled out his phone. One flickering bar of service. VA disability claim status. Pending final review, estimated 8-12 weeks. Bank app showed $847.32. Property taxes 2 years delinquent. Water bill stamped red final notice. Electric meter box outside already padlocked once. Someone had cut the lock and resealed it. He closed his eyes. The desert flashed behind his lids. Bone-white sand, diesel smoke, the wet crunch of Kevlar giving way, a buddy's last gasp drowned by rotor blades. Jack opened his eyes fast. His hands were shaking. He pressed them flat to the cold wood until the tremor stopped. Liam stirred. Daddy, right here. A promise he repeated like a prayer he no longer believed. Next morning, Jack walked Liam the 6 blocks to Willow Creek Elementary. The building looked smaller than memory. Faded red brick, chain-link fence rattling in the breeze. Pickup trucks idled in the drop-off lane. Parents inside stared through tinted glass. One woman, blonde ponytail, sunglasses, actually pointed as Jack passed, then leaned to whisper to the driver. In the office, the secretary's smile froze when she read the enrollment form. Harlan, Jack Harlan, that's me. Her eyes flicked to the raised scar that ran from his left temple into his hairline, jagged silver against tan skin. Welcome back, she said. The words landed without weight. Liam clung to Jack's leg during the kindergarten tour. Crayon smells and carpet cleaner, tiny tables. Mrs. Delgado knelt to Liam's level, voice gentle. We'll take good care of him, Mr. Harlan. Jack nodded. He no longer trusted easy promises. He walked home alone. Sun hammered down. Sweat stung the scar. Halfway up Elm he noticed her, a woman on the porch across the street. Short auburn hair, gray tank top, arms crossed over her chest. She watched him the entire length of the block, not smiling, not hostile, just present, steady in a way that made the hair rise on the back of his neck. Jack reached his own porch. She stepped down her steps and crossed without hesitation. She stopped at the bottom of his, held out a stainless steel thermos. Coffee, black, figured you didn't sleep much. Jack stared. Her voice, low register, calm under pressure, hit a place in his memory he couldn't place. Do I know you? She met his gaze. Something flickered behind hazel eyes, recognition, then a quick shudder. Mara Voss. Live right there, she jerked her chin toward the neat 2-story across the street. Grew up 3 doors down from your mom. He took the thermos, warm metal against his calloused palm. Thanks, she nodded once, turned to go. Then paused on the cracked sidewalk. Your Aunt Val came by my office yesterday, asking questions. About you, about the house, about how long you plan to stay. Jack's grip tightened until the thermos creaked. What kind of questions? Mara's jaw worked side to side. The kind that come with a real estate listing agreement already drafted. By the time the sun touched the river that evening, a bright red, for sale Henderson Development cash buyers welcome, sign stood stabbed deep into Jack's front lawn, and Aunt Val's silver SUV was already idling in the driveway, engine running, headlights cutting through the gathering dusk. Jack stood motionless in the front yard as the last sliver of daylight bled out over the Cedar River. The red, for sale, sign lay broken at his feet, plastic stake splintered like a snapped bone. Aunt Val's silver SUV idled in the driveway, headlights slicing twin tunnels through the gathering dusk. Exhaust curled lazy in the cooling air. She stepped out wearing the same navy blazer she'd worn to every family funeral and every closing. Pumps clicked across gravel. In her left hand, a thick manila folder. In her right, a pen already uncapped. Jack, honey, she began, voice pitched for reasonableness. Let's not make this harder than it has to be. He didn't answer. Just watched her approach like he used to watch incoming mortar fire, calculate distance, trajectory, impact. Val stopped 3 feet away. The lien notice came today, 2 years of back taxes. County's already scheduled the auction block. Henderson's offer is $140 cash, no contingencies. You sign tonight, you walk with enough to rent something decent in Cedar Rapids. Liam gets a real bedroom. You get breathing room. Jack's laugh came short and sharp. You're selling my mother's house for warehouse space. Not selling, facilitating. She opened the folder, angled it so he could see the listing sheet. Professional photos taken last week apparently made the house look almost salvageable. This block is zoned commercial now. Distribution center means jobs, truck drivers, warehouse packers, admin, real paychecks, Jack. Not VA scraps that take forever because some bureaucrat in Des Moines lost the paperwork. He felt heat climb his throat. You didn't visit Mom when she was dying. You sent a Hallmark card and a gift card to Olive Garden. Val's mouth tightened. A flicker guilt maybe crossed her face before she smoothed it away. I was working, raising 2 kids alone after your uncle left. You were overseas. We all made choices. My choice was to serve. Yours was to disappear until there was equity to cash out. She stepped closer. Perfume hit him, floral, expensive, wrong for this cracked porch. Liam deserves better than a rotting house and a father who can't afford the electric bill. You think I want this? I'm doing what your mother would have begged me to do if she were still here. Jack's hands flexed. Mom left the house to me. Free and clear, no strings. She left it to you because she thought you'd come home whole. Val's voice dropped. Look at you, Jack, you're not whole, and that boy inside, he's shrinking. I saw him at the grocery store last week with Mrs. Delgado. He wouldn't look at anyone, wouldn't speak. That's not normal. The words landed like a controlled burst. Jack's vision tunneled. He saw Liam's drawing again. 2 stick figures trapped in a square box. No way out. Val pressed the folder toward him. Sign, let me help you both. Jack slapped the folder away. Papers scattered across the dead grass like fallen leaves. Get off my land. She didn't flinch, just bent slowly, gathered the sheets, tucked them back inside. 30 days, Jack. Then the county takes it whether you sign or not. And when they do, Henderson still buys at auction price. You'll get maybe $40,000 after fees. Then what? Motel rooms? Food pantries. You'll lose him to the system before winter. She walked back to the SUV, paused at the driver's door. I'm not the enemy, she said quietly. I'm the only family you've got left who's still fighting for that boy. The door closed. Engine revved. Tail lights disappeared down Elm. Jack stood in the dark yard, pulse hammering in his ears. He looked up at the house, dark windows staring back like empty sockets. Inside, Liam sat cross-legged on the couch, camel in his lap, a single sheet of construction paper in front of him. Blue crayon, same square, same 2 figures. He'd added a 3rd stick, person outside the box, smaller, separate. Jack knelt. Hey, Liam kept coloring, pressed so hard the crayon snapped. Jack touched his son's wrist, gentle. Liam flinched anyway. The flinch cut deeper than any words Val had spoken. Jack gathered the broken crayon pieces. You don't have to draw the house like that forever. Liam whispered. She said we're leaving. Jack froze. Who said? The teacher. She asked if we were moving, said Aunt Val told her. Rage bloomed hot and sudden behind Jack's ribs, not the clean adrenaline of combat, the dirty, personal kind, family weaponizing gossip. Small-town telephone game turned into a foreclosure strategy. He pulled Liam against his chest. The boy went stiff, then slowly melted in, small fists clutching Jack's shirt. I'm not going anywhere, Jack said, voice low. Neither are you, Liam's face pressed into his shoulder. Muffled. Promise? Jack closed his eyes, felt the tremor start in his hands again. promise." That night he lay on the floorboards beside the couch. Liam's breathing evened into sleep. Jack stared at the ceiling stain, darker now, spreading like spilled ink. He thought about Mara Voss, the thermos she'd left on the porch rail earlier that evening, still warm when he picked it up, a post-it stuck to the side. "If you need a second pair of hands tomorrow, I'm off at 3. No pity in the handwriting, just fact. Across the street, her porch light burned steady until after midnight. Jack rolled onto his side. The scar on his temple throbbed in time with his heartbeat. He thought about the IED flash, white light, concussive wave, the medic's voice cutting through the ringing. "Stay with me, soldier. Eyes on me." He'd never seen her face clearly, just gloved hands, calm voice. Green eyes behind clear goggles. He pushed the memory down. Tomorrow he would walk to the county treasurer's office, ask about payment plans, extensions, anything. Tomorrow he would find Mara and ask what she knew about Val's plan. Tomorrow he would start fighting for real. But tonight the house creaked around him like a wounded animal, and somewhere in the dark, Liam whispered in his sleep, "Daddy, don't go." Jack pressed his palm flat to the floor. Felt the vibration of distant thunder rolling in from the plains. When Jack opened the front door at dawn, a fresh manila envelope had been slid under it, County Lien papers stamped approved for auction, and Mara Voss was already waiting on his bottom step, toolbox open, a claw hammer in her hand, eyes saying she wasn't leaving until the porch stopped looking like it would collapse under the weight of everything Jack was carrying alone. Jack opened the front door before the sun cleared the levee. Cool morning air carried the scent of wet grass and distant manure from the fields beyond town. Mara Voss sat on the bottom porch step, toolbox open beside her. Claw hammer in one hand, pry bar in the other. She didn't look up when he stepped out. "Morning," she said. Jack stopped on the threshold. The County Lien envelope lay unopened on the hall table behind him, red ink glaring through the window glass. "You always start work before coffee, only when the porch is about to eat someone." She tapped the rotting tread with the hammer head. Wood flaked away like dry skin. "One good rain and this collapses." "You, Liam, whoever walks up next." Jack crossed his arms. "I can handle it." Mara finally met his eyes. "You've been handling everything alone since you stepped off that bus." "Doesn't mean you have to." She stood, dusted sawdust from her jeans. Up close he noticed the thin white scar that curved along her left forearm, old, surgical looking. Her hands were steady, calloused in the same places his were. Medic hands, soldier hands. He remembered the voice again. "Stay with me." The green eyes behind goggles. The calm that kept him from bleeding out on a dusty road outside Kandahar. Jack exhaled through his nose. "You said Val was asking questions." Mara nodded once. "She came to my clinic Tuesday, wanted to know if I'd seen you, if the house looked habitable, if Liam was adjusting." She paused. "She also asked how much I thought the property was worth on the open market." Jack's jaw tightened. "She's building a case, for the county, for Henderson, or for herself." Mara set the hammer down. "She's got a listing agreement drafted. Saw it on her passenger seat when she left. Your name's already on the seller line." Rage flickered low in his gut, slow burn, not flash fire. "Yet, why tell me?" Mara looked past him at the house. "Because I grew up watching your mom plant those geraniums every spring. Because I know what it costs to come home broken and have the people who should help you instead sharpen their knives." She picked up a box of 3-inch deck screws. "And because I've seen what happens when a kid loses the one place that still feels safe." Jack studied her. No pity in her face, just quiet certainty. The same certainty he'd heard in her voice 7 years ago, pulling shrapnel from his side while the medevac chopper blades thundered overhead. He stepped aside, "Porch first, then we talk." They worked in near silence for the first hour. Mara pried rotten boards. Jack cut new ones from lumber she'd brought in her truck bed. Sawdust drifted like snow. Hammer strikes rang sharp against the morning quiet. Liam appeared at the screen door around 8, camel under his arm, watching with wide eyes. Mara glanced up, smiled small. "Hey, soldier." Liam blinked, didn't answer. But he didn't flinch when she waved the hammer like a friendly salute. By noon the steps were solid, new pressure-treated pine, screws instead of nails, railing braced. Jack wiped sweat from his brow. Mara handed him a water bottle from her cooler. "Drink, you're still dehydrated from the bus ride." He took it. Their fingers brushed. She pulled back quick. Inside, Liam had set 3 places at the kitchen table, paper plates. Plastic cups, a half loaf of bread and peanut butter from the pantry. Jack froze in the doorway. Mara stepped in behind him. "He's feeding us." Liam looked up, voice barely above whisper. "You fixed the steps, so lunch?" Jack's throat closed. He knelt. "You didn't have to." Liam shrugged one shoulder. "You fixed something, I fixed something." Mara's eyes softened. She sat without being asked. Jack joined them. They ate in quiet rhythm, peanut butter on bread, water from plastic cups, the kind of meal that tastes like gratitude. After, Mara walked the house with Jack. She pointed out the water stain on the ceiling, the soft spot in the kitchen's subfloor, the cracked foundation wall in the basement where roots had pushed through concrete years ago. Roof's got maybe one winter left, she said. Foundation needs piers before it shifts more. Plumbing's original cast iron. It'll fail soon. Jack nodded. Each word added weight to the ledger in his head. They ended on the back porch. River visible through overgrown lilacs. Mara leaned on the railing. I was a combat medic, she said. No preamble. 101st Airborne, 2 Tour. Saw you once, Kandahar, Route Vulcan. IED hit your convoy. You were the one bleeding out in the back of my truck. I kept you talking till the bird landed. Jack's breath caught. I remember the voice, not the face. She touched the scar on her forearm. Shrapnel from the same blast. Got me medevac too. After that, I couldn't go back in. Couldn't sit in a clinic and pretend the war was over. Came home. Opened a small PT practice here. Thought quiet would help. Jack looked at her profile. Did it? Some days, she turned. But quiet isn't the same as safe. And right now, this town isn't safe for you or Liam. He felt the shift inside him, something loosening, something else tightening. What's Val's real play? He asked. Mara's eyes darkened. Henderson's paying her a finder's fee 10%, but she's also pushing the county to fast-track the lien because she claims you're an unfit guardian, unstable, unemployed, house uninhabitable. She's got a petition ready for family court. Jack's vision narrowed. She's trying to take him. Mara nodded. If the house goes to auction and you lose custody, she gets guardianship. Then she can sign on your behalf, clean title. Full commission. The porch seemed to tilt under him. Liam's voice came soft from the kitchen doorway. Daddy, Jack turned. His son stood there, paper in hand. Another drawing. This one, 3 figures. One tall, one small, one medium height. Outside the box, holding hands, Jack crossed the porch in 3 strides, lifted Liam, held him tight. Mara watched, said nothing. Jack set Liam down, looked at Mara. I need to see the county papers. Today, she nodded. I'll drive. As they stepped off the new porch steps, solid underfoot, Jack's phone buzzed. Unknown number, voicemail notification. He played it on speaker. Val's voice, clipped and professional. Jack, it's Aunt Val. The county approved the accelerated lien process. Auction set for 4 weeks from today. I've also filed an emergency guardianship motion. For Liam's sake, call me. We can still make this easy. The message ended. Liam's hand found Jack's, squeezed. Mara's jaw set. Jack deleted the voicemail. By the time they reached the county courthouse steps, a small crowd had already gathered, phones out, recording, and Mrs. Delgado stood at the front holding a handwritten sign that read, Protect our veterans' families, while Aunt Val waited inside with Henderson's lawyer and a stack of documents thick enough to bury a man. The county courthouse steps were already crowded when Jack parked Mara's truck at the curb. Late morning sun bounced off marble columns. A dozen people milled, some holding signs, others phones raised like weapons. Mrs. Delgado stood at the front, gray hair pulled back, cardboard sign in both hands. Protect our veterans' families, no auction. Jack killed the engine. Liam sat buckled in the back seat, camel pressed to his chest, eyes fixed on the crowd. You sure about this? Mara asked quietly. Jack looked at her. If I don't show up, they'll say I'm unfit by default. He unbuckled Liam. The boy's hand slipped into his without a word. Mara grabbed her canvas satchel, papers, water, a spare hoodie for Liam, and followed them up the wide steps. Inside, the air was cooler, thick with old varnish and printer ink. Marble echoed every footfall. A clerk at the counter glanced up, recognized Jack, then quickly looked down. Family court hearing room 2 billion, she muttered. They're waiting. They climbed the stairs. Jack's boots sounded too loud. Liam's sneakers whispered. Mara walked close, shoulder almost brushing his, a silent anchor. The hallway outside 2 billion was narrow. Aunt Val stood near the double doors in a charcoal suit, hair pinned perfect, beside her. A man in a crisp gray suit, expensive watch, briefcase at his feet. Henderson development rep. Behind them, 2 more people Jack didn't recognize. County attorney, probably, and a woman in a blazer holding a tablet. Val's eyes locked on Jack the second he rounded the corner. Jack, she said, voice pitched for the hallway audience. You brought company. Jack stopped 5 feet away. You brought a lawyer. The Henderson rep stepped forward, hand extended. Mr. Harlan, I'm Derek Langford. We're prepared to make this amicable. Jack ignored the hand. Amicable means you don't steal my house and threaten my kid. Langford's smile didn't falter. This is about fiscal responsibility. The property is distressed. The county has a duty. Mara cut in. The county has a duty to veterans under federal law. Service Members Civil Relief Act. You can't accelerate a tax lien on active duty or recently separated without showing hardship. You haven't? Langford blinked. Val's mouth tightened. Mrs. Delgado pushed through the growing knot of onlookers, teachers, a few parents, an older man in a VFW cap. Phones were out now, recording. Val stepped closer to Jack. Voice low, this doesn't have to be public. Sign the voluntary sale agreement. I'll withdraw the guardianship petition. Liam stays with you, you get cash, everyone wins. Jack felt Liam's fingers tighten in his. Everyone except us, he said. The doors to 2 billion opened. A bailiff called names, Harlan Guardianship and Leon Matter. They filed in. The courtroom was small, wood paneling, American flag in the corner, judge's bench elevated. Judge Eleanor Hayes, late 50s, silver hair, reading glasses, looked up from her laptop. She knew Jack's mother. Had taught Sunday school with her years ago. Mr. Harlan, she said. Miss Voss, Miss Mercer, Mr. Langford, please be seated. Jack sat at the petitioner's table with Mara. Liam climbed onto his lap. Val and Langford took the other side. Mrs. Delgado and the handful of supporters filled the back rows. Judge Hayes scanned documents. We're here on an emergency guardianship petition filed by Valerie Mercer, alleging unfit living conditions and parental instability. Concurrently, a tax lien acceleration request from Henderson Development, supported by the county treasurer. She looked at Jack. You've filed a response. Jack slid a thin stack across the table. Mara had helped him draft it last night. SCRA protections, VA disability pending, intent to pay back taxes in installments. Yes, Your Honor, Val stood. Your Honor, the child's welfare is paramount. The home is structurally unsafe. Mr. Harlan has no employment, no savings. The boy is withdrawn, nonverbal in class. Mrs. Delgado stood from the gallery. Objection, Your Honor. Liam speaks to me. He's quiet, yes, but he's adjusting. He drew me a picture yesterday. 3 people holding hands, that's progress. Murmurs rippled, phones angled higher. Judge Hayes raised a hand. Gallery will remain silent unless called. But the damage was spreading. Jack felt the shift in the room, sympathy tilting toward him. Langford rose smoothly. Your Honor, Henderson is prepared to purchase at appraised value, relieving the county of lien enforcement costs. Funds would be escrowed for Mr. Harlan's relocation and child's needs. Jack's voice cut through, low, steady. You want the land for a warehouse, not for my son's future. You're using a 5-year-old as leverage. Langford's jaw flexed. Val looked away. Judge Hayes leaned forward. Mr. Harlan, I've reviewed your service record. 2 Purple Hearts, Combat Action Badge, honorable discharge 6 months ago. The SCRA does afford protections. But the tax delinquency is real. I'm inclined to grant a 90-day stay on auction, time for you to cure the debt or secure financing. Val spoke quickly. Your Honor, the guardianship is premature, the judge finished. I'll set a full hearing in 60 days. Until then, status quo. No sale, no removal of the child. Mr. Harlan retains custody. Val's face paled. Langford whispered something sharp. She shook her head. Jack exhaled. Liam's head rested against his chest. Small heartbeat fast but steady. Judge Hayes addressed the room. Court adjourned. People stood. Whispers swelled. Phones stayed recording. In the hallway, Val approached. Eyes red-rimmed now. You think this is over, she said quietly. The town's divided. Half see you as a hero. Half see a squatter refusing to face reality. You'll lose the house anyway. And when you do, I'll be there for Liam. Jack looked down at his son. Then back at Val. You file anything else against us, he said, voice calm, lethal. And I'll make sure every veteran from here to Des Moines knows exactly what family did to one of their own. Val stepped back, turned, walked away fast. Mara touched Jack's arm. You okay? He looked at her, felt the tremor in his hands again. This time he didn't hide it. No, he said, but I'm still standing. Liam tugged his sleeve, whispered, Can we go home now? Jack knelt. Kissed the top of his head. Yeah, buddy, let's go home. Outside, the crowd had grown. Someone clapped. Another cheered. Phones captured it all, the veteran carrying his son down the steps, Mara walking beside them, the courthouse doors closing behind like a chapter no one wanted to reopen. But Jack knew better. This was only the beginning. That night, as Jack locked the front door, his phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. A single photo of Liam's kindergarten classroom window, taken from outside, with a small handwritten note taped to the glass that read, We're watching. Jack stared at the phone screen until the backlight timed out. The photo showed Liam's kindergarten window from the outside, late afternoon light slanting across the glass, crayon drawings taped up, and that small white note stuck dead center. We're watching. No sender name, no timestamp. Just the image burning into his retinas. He locked the front door again, checked the deadbolt twice, then the back door, then every window latch on the first floor. Liam slept upstairs now, second-hand mattress pushed against the wall, camel tucked under his chin. Jack stood in the hallway listening to the house settle. Floorboards creaked like old bones. Wind rattled the new porch screens. He texted Mara, short, direct. Got something, need to show you. Now, her reply came in under 30 seconds. On my way. She arrived in a hoodie and jeans, hair still damp from a shower. No questions on the porch, just stepped inside when he opened the door. Jack led her to the kitchen table, set the phone down, tapped the photo. Mara leaned in, her breath caught. That's Mrs. Delgado's room, she said. south-facing window, playground side, Jack nodded. Someone was on school grounds after hours. She zoomed in on the note. Handwriting neat, block letters, black marker. No prints on the photo itself. Burner number, blocked, came through as unknown. Mara straightened. This isn't subtle anymore. Val's escalating. Jack's hands flexed on the table edge. Or someone she hired, or someone who thinks they're helping her cause. Mara looked at him, really looked. You're shaking. He hadn't noticed. He pressed his palms flat. Haven't slept right since the bus. Flashbacks hit harder when I'm tired. Loud noises, sudden lights, now this. She didn't offer comfort, just fact. You're hypervigilant, normal after what you've seen. But it's being weaponized against you. Jack exhaled. I need to know who sent it. Mara pulled her own phone. I know the school custodian Rico. He owes me for PT on his bad knee. He'll check security cameras tomorrow. Quietly, Jack nodded. Gratitude stuck in his throat. They sat in silence for a minute. Kitchen clock ticked. Refrigerator hummed low. Liam's voice drifted down the stairs, soft, sleepy. Daddy, Jack was up in an instant. Mara followed. Liam sat on the top step, camel dangling from one hand, eyes wide in the dim hall light. Bad dream? Jack asked, kneeling. Liam shook his head, heard voices, outside. Jack's blood went cold. He scooped Liam up, carried him back to bed, tucked the blanket tight, kissed his forehead. Stay here, I'm checking. Downstairs, Mara already had the back door open a crack. Flashlight from her keychain swept the yard. Nothing moved except tall grass and shadows from the lilacs. Jack joined her on the porch. Clear, for now, she killed the light. You can't stay here alone tonight, not with Liam. Jack's first instinct was refusal, pride. Independence, then he looked at the upstairs window, Liam's small silhouette pressed to the glass, watching them. He exhaled. Your place, guest rooms made up. Couch pulls out if you want. Safer than this sieve of a house until we know more. Jack hesitated only a second. Let me grab our bags. 10 minutes later, they crossed the street under a thin moon. Mara's house smelled of coffee and eucalyptus, clean, lived in, no dust ghosts. Guest room had a twin bed, fresh sheets, a nightlight shaped like a rocket. Liam climbed in without protest, exhausted, safe. Jack stood in the doorway watching him sleep. Mara leaned against the frame beside him. He trusts you, she said quietly. He shouldn't have to be scared to trust anyone. Mara's voice dropped lower. I lost a patient last year, veteran. 23, came home, tried therapy, tried meds. One night he called me at 2 a.m., said he was fine. Next morning he was gone, gun in the closet. I still hear his voice saying, I'm good, doc. Jack turned. Saw the weight she carried, same architecture as his own. Different war, same wreckage. That why you push so hard? He asked. That's why I don't look away. They stood there in the hallway light, close enough to feel shared warmth. Neither moved closer, neither stepped back. Jack broke the silence. Thank you, for tonight, for the porch, for remembering my name in the dust. Mara's eyes softened. I never forgot the soldier who kept asking about his kid while he was bleeding out. You said his name over and over, Liam, like a prayer. Jack swallowed. He was all I had left to hold on to. She reached out, slow, touched the scar on his temple with 2 fingertips. Light, no pressure. You're still holding on. He didn't pull away. They moved to the living room. Couch, low lamp. Mara poured 2 mugs of chamomile. No words needed for a while. Jack spoke first. Tomorrow I go to the hardware store. Gerald said there's a part-time opening. Stocking shelves, loading trucks, cash under the table if I need it fast. Mara nodded. Good, and I'll call Rico at dawn. Jack looked at her. Why risk this? You could walk away. She set her mug down. Because I watched you fight to stay alive once. I'm not watching you lose the rest of your life because a few people decided profit matters more than people. Jack felt something crack open inside. Small fissure, but real. Not pain, relief. He reached across the coffee table, took her hand. Calloused fingers against calloused fingers, held for 3 heartbeats, then let go. They didn't speak again that night. Just sat in the quiet until the clock pushed past midnight. Upstairs, Liam slept without stirring. Down the street, Jack's house sat dark, vulnerable, watched. Jack's phone stayed silent. No more photos, not yet. But in the back of his mind, the desert whispered, incoming, brace. The next morning, Rico texted Mara a single line. Cameras caught someone at 4:47 p.m. yesterday. Hood up, gloves. But the reflection in the window shows a silver SUV parked across the street. And when Jack saw the make and model match Aunt Val's, the quiet inside him turned to something sharper, something ready to ignite. Jack walked into Gerald's Hardware on Main Street at 7:45 a.m., 5 minutes before opening. The bell above the door jingled even though the sign still read closed. Gerald's 68 white beard, flannel shirt rolled to the elbows, looked up from restocking paint cans on aisle 7. Jack Harlan, he said, voice gravel from years of cigarettes he swore he'd quit. Heard you were back, Jack nodded. Heard you had a help wanted sign. Gerald wiped his hands on a rag. Sign's been up 3 weeks. Nobody wants stock shelves at $6 over minimum anymore. You do? I do. Gerald studied him. Not pity, appraisal. You good with a forklift? Certified, ran them on base. Gerald grunted. Start today, cash at end of shift. No taxes taken out, your call what you report. And if anyone asks, you're full-time seasonal. Jack extended his hand. Gerald shook it once firm, no nonsense. Break at noon. Lunch is on me, don't be late. Jack spent the morning unloading pallets of roofing shingles, stacking 2x4s, sweeping sawdust from the aisles. Physical work, predictable, no surprises. His body remembered how to move without thinking, lift, carry, set, repeat. The rhythm quieted the noise in his head for the first time in weeks. At noon, Gerald locked the front door, flipped the sign to closed for lunch, and set 2 foil containers on the counter. Meatloaf, mashed potatoes, green beans, from the diner across the street. Eat, Gerald said. You're too skinny. They sat on stools behind the register. Jack ate slow. Gerald talked about the town, how the feed mill closed, how the young people left for Des Moines or Chicago, how Henderson's warehouse promise sounded good until people realized the jobs paid barely above minimum and came with mandatory overtime. Henderson's buying up half the east side, Gerald said. Your block's next. Val Mercer's their local face, smooth talker, knows who's hurting. Jack set his fork down. She's family, supposed to be, Gerald snorted. Family's the sharpest knife, sometimes. Jack looked at the older man. You knew my mom, went to school with her, helped her fix the porch after your dad passed. She was proud of you, Jack, talked about your letters, the medals. Never once complained you weren't sending money home. Jack's throat tightened. I should have come back sooner, Gerald shrugged. War doesn't wait for convenient timing. They finished eating in silence. Gerald slid a key across the counter. Spare for the back door if you need to come in early, or late, or whenever. Jack pocketed it. Thanks. Afternoon dragged. Customers trickled in, farmers buying fence posts, homeowners grabbing caulk. One older woman stopped at the register, looked at Jack, hesitated. You're Harlan's boy, Jack nodded. She leaned in, voice low. Don't let them take your house. My brother lost his place to the same company 10 years ago. Said it was for progress. Progress never came for us. She paid, left. Jack felt eyes on him the rest of the shift. Not all hostile, some curious, some sympathetic. A few turned away quick when he met their gaze. At 5:30, Gerald handed him an envelope, cash, exact. Tomorrow, same time. Jack walked home under a sky turning bruised purple. Thunder rumbled distant. He stopped at Mara's first, knocked once. She opened the door. Liam sat at her kitchen table coloring, 3 figures again, this time with a house that had 1 window. Small, but there. Mara stepped onto the porch, closed the door partway. Rico got back to me, she said. Camera caught the SUV at 4:47 yesterday. Silver, same plates as Val's. Hooded figure walked up, taped the note, left in under 30 seconds. No face. But the timing lines up. She left the courthouse right after us. Jack's hands curled. She's trying to scare him, scare us. Mara nodded. Or make you look paranoid, unstable. More ammo for the guardianship hearing. Jack looked past her at Liam. The boy glanced up, smiled small, real, fleeting. I can't let him see me break, Jack said. You won't, Mara's voice was steady. But you don't have to pretend you're unbreakable either. Jack exhaled. I got the job, cash today, enough for the water bill, maybe the electric. Mara's eyes softened. That's a start. They stood there on her porch. Wind picked up. First fat raindrops hit the railing. Jack spoke low. The photo, the note, if she's behind it, she is, Mara cut in. And if we prove it, the guardianship petition collapses. Judge Hayes won't tolerate intimidation. Jack nodded. I need to talk to Mrs. Delgado, see if she's heard anything, seen anything. Mara glanced at the sky. Storm's coming. Stay here tonight. Guest room's still yours. Jack hesitated, pried again. Then he looked at Liam through the screen door, safe, coloring, not flinching at thunder. Okay. Inside, Liam ran to him, hugged his legs. You smell like wood. Jack laughed short, surprised. Yeah. Hardware store. Liam held up the drawing. I made a window so we can see out. Jack knelt, took the paper, traced the small square with his thumb. Good job, buddy. They ate dinner together. Spaghetti Mara had simmering. Simple, warm. Liam talked more than he had in weeks. Small things. A kid at school who shared crayons. The way the playground slide felt fast. After, Liam fell asleep on the couch watching cartoons. Jack carried him upstairs, tucked him in. Stayed until breathing evened. Downstairs, Mara waited with 2 mugs of tea. Rain hammered the roof now, steady, relentless. They sat on the couch, close, not touching. Jack spoke first. I keep waiting for the next hit, the next flash. The next photo, like I'm still in country. Mara set her mug down. You are different battlefield, same rules. Stay low, watch your 6, trust your squad. Jack looked at her. You're my squad now, she met his eyes. If you let me, silence stretched, comfortable, heavy with possibility. Jack reached over, took her hand again, this time didn't let go right away. Rain drummed on. His phone buzzed on the coffee table. Unknown number. Another photo. He opened it, Liam's bedroom window from outside. Curtains parted just enough. Nightlight glowing. A new note taped to the glass. Time's running out. Jack's grip on Mara's hand tightened. She saw the screen. Her face hardened. "We end this tomorrow," she said. Jack nodded, voice low, dangerous. Tomorrow. When Jack arrived at the school the next morning to pick up Liam early, Mrs. Delgado met him at the door with red-rimmed eyes and a whispered warning. "They pulled Liam out of class for a welfare check an hour ago, 2 county caseworkers and your aunt, and they're not bringing him back unless you sign the sale papers right now." Jack pushed through the double doors of Willow Creek Elementary at a near run. The hallway smelled of crayons and floor wax. His boots echoed too loud on the linoleum. Mrs. Delgado waited just inside the main office, face pale, hands clasped tight in front of her cardigan. "They took him," she said before Jack could speak. "An hour ago, 2 caseworkers from County Family Services. Your aunt was with them, said it was a routine welfare check. Liam didn't want to go. He kept asking for you." Jack's vision narrowed to a tunnel. "Where?" "They said the courthouse. Emergency hearing. Closed session." Mrs. Delgado's voice cracked. "I tried to stop them, told them you had custody. They showed papers, emergency removal order signed by a magistrate this morning. Val claimed imminent danger, unstable home, threats to the child's safety." Jack felt the floor tilt. "Threats?" Mrs. Delgado glanced at the security camera in the corner, lowered her voice. "They mentioned the note on the window, said you were becoming paranoid, hallucinating danger. That Liam was at risk because of your episodes." Jack's hands clenched, knuckles white. "They used my PTSD against me." Mrs. Delgado nodded, tears brimmed. "I'm so sorry. I called the principal. He's on his way." "But they already left." Liam was crying, quiet, not loud, just tears. "He looked back at me like he thought I could fix it." Jack turned, started for the exit. Mrs. Delgado caught his arm, gentle. "Jack, don't go in angry. They want you to look unstable. Call Mara, get a lawyer, Breeze." He nodded once mechanical, pulled free, walked out into the parking lot. Rain from last night still puddled on the asphalt. Sky low and gray. He dialed Mara. She picked up on the first ring. "They took him." "I know," she said. "Mrs. Delgado texted me 30 seconds ago. I'm already in the truck. Meet me at the courthouse. I'm calling a friend, family law attorney in Cedar Rapids." "She's driving now, ETA 40 minutes. Jack got into his truck. Gerald had loaned him an old F-150 for the week. Engine roared. He peeled out of the lot. The drive took 7 minutes, felt like 7 hours. Every red light burned. Every stop sign mocked him. He parked crooked in the courthouse visitor lot, ran up the steps. Security guard at the metal detector held up a hand. "Slow down, sir." Jack forced his breathing even. "Family court emergency removal. Liam Harlan." The guard checked a clipboard. "Closed session. 3 billion, no public." Jack leaned in, voice low. "That's my son. They took him without notice." "Without me present." The guard hesitated, saw the scar, the eyes. Something in Jack's face made him step aside. "Wait here, I'll get the bailiff." Minutes dragged. Jack paced the marble floor, hands shaking now, not hiding it. Rain started again, drumming on the windows. The bailiff appeared middle-aged, uniform crisp. "Mr. Harlan," Jack stepped forward. "They're in recess. Your aunt requested a private conference with the magistrate. Child's in a waiting room with a caseworker. You can see him, but supervised. No discussion of the case." Jack followed the bailiff down a side corridor, past closed doors, past portraits of dead judges. The waiting room was small, 2 chairs, a low table, toys scattered like afterthoughts. Liam sat on the floor, camel in his lap, face streaked with dried tears. When he saw Jack, he scrambled up, ran, buried himself against Jack's legs. Jack dropped to one knee, held him, tight, breathed in the smell of shampoo and school glue. "I'm here," he whispered. "I'm right here." The caseworker 30's clipboard neutral expression stood in the corner. 5 minutes. No discussion of proceedings. Jack ignored her, lifted Liam, sat in one of the chairs, held him on his lap. Liam pressed his face into Jack's neck, whispered so small only Jack could hear. "They said we can't go home." "Said the house is bad, said you're sick." Jack's chest seized. "I'm not sick, I'm tired, but I'm getting better and we're going home together." Liam nodded against him, small fists clutching shirt. The door opened. Val stepped in, alone. Door closed behind her. She looked at Liam first, soft expression, almost maternal, then at Jack, harder. "You can end this now," she said quietly. "Sign the voluntary sale. Withdraw your objection to the lien acceleration. I'll tell the magistrate it was all a misunderstanding. Liam goes home with you tonight, safe, stable." Jack looked at her over Liam's head. "You staged the notes," he said, flat, fact. Val's eyes flickered. "I don't know what you're talking about. Cameras caught your SUV, hooded figure, gloves, you're not as careful as you think." Val's mouth thinned. "Even if that's true, and it's not, Who's going to believe a veteran with documented PTSD over a concerned aunt trying to protect her nephew? Jack felt Liam tense in his arms. You used my service against me, Jack said. Told them I'm unstable, paranoid, dangerous. Val stepped closer. Voice dropped. I told them the truth. You're not sleeping. You're seeing threats everywhere. You're living in a house that's falling apart. Liam deserves better. I can give him that. Jack stood slowly, set Liam down gently, stepped between his son and Val. You want the commission, he said. 10% of 140. 14,000 plus whatever Henderson's slipping you under the table. That's what this is worth to you. Val's face flushed. This is about family. This is about greed. The caseworker cleared her throat. Time's up. Val looked at Liam. Think about him, Jack, not your pride. Jack knelt again, kissed Liam's forehead. I love you. I'm getting you out. Stay brave. Liam nodded, eyes shining but no more tears. The caseworker led Liam away. Door closed. Jack turned to Val. If you touch him again, he said, voice low enough that only she heard, if you send one more note, one more photo, one more lie, I will make sure every veteran group, every news station, every social media feed in the state knows exactly what you did. And I'll do it loud. Val's eyes narrowed. You're threatening me? I'm promising. She turned, walked out. Jack stood alone in the waiting room, toys scattered, empty chair still warm from Liam. His phone buzzed. Mara, attorney's here. We're in the hallway, come now. Jack walked out, shoulders square, hands steady. The hallway had filled more people now, phones out again. Mrs. Delgado, Gerald from the hardware store, a few others Jack recognized from town. Mara stood with a woman in a sharp blazer, late 40s, dark hair, briefcase. The attorney, she extended her hand. Rebecca Klein, I've reviewed the emergency order. It's thin. We can challenge it immediately. Motion to vacate. And we're filing a counterpetition for harassment and witness intimidation based on the photos and notes. Jack nodded. Do it. Rebecca looked at him. You ready to go public? This will get ugly. Media will show up. Jack glanced at the growing crowd. Phones recording, faces sympathetic, angry, determined. I'm done hiding, he said. As Jack stepped into the hallway with Mara and Rebecca, a local news van pulled up outside the courthouse steps, and the reporter already had a microphone ready, asking the one question that would change everything. Mr. Harlan, is it true your own aunt is trying to take your child away to sell your family home to developers? The courthouse steps had become a makeshift press stand by the time Jack pushed through the glass doors. Rain had stopped, leaving the air sharp and wet. A local news van from Cedar Rapids sat parked, crooked satellite dish raised like an antenna searching for signal. The reporter, 30s, red blazer, microphone already live, spotted him first. Mr. Harlan, she called, striding forward with her cameraman trailing. Is it true your own aunt is trying to take your child away to sell your family home to developers? Jack stopped. Mara appeared at his side, Rebecca Klein right behind her, briefcase in hand. The crowd from the hallway had spilled outside. Gerald, Mrs. Delgado, a dozen others now, phones raised, murmurs rising. Jack looked at the microphone, then at the camera lens, felt the weight of every stare. He took the mic when the reporter offered it. My name is Jack Harlan, he began, voice low at first, steady. I served 2 tours in Afghanistan. Came home 6 months ago with a 5-year-old son and a house my mother left me. No parade, no help, just a town that looked the other way. He paused. Raindrops dripped from the overhang behind him. Today they took my son. Without warning, without me there, emergency removal. Said the house was unsafe, said I was unstable, said I was a danger to him because I have PTSD. Murmurs swelled. Someone gasped. Jack's voice rose, not shouting but carrying. Clear, cutting. That removal order came after my Aunt Val Mercer filed papers claiming I'm unfit. She's also pushing the county to auction my house for back taxes, taxes she knew about and never once offered to help pay. Instead, she drafted a sale agreement with Henderson Development, 140 cash, 10% commission in her pocket, $14,000 for handing over the only home my son has left. He looked straight into the camera. She sent anonymous notes to his school window, photos of him sleeping. We're watching. Time's running out. Security footage shows her SUV. She used my service record, my scars, my nightmares to paint me as broken. To scare me into selling, to take my boy if I didn't. The crowd went quiet. Phones stayed up. No one moved. Jack's hands were steady now, no tremor. I didn't come home to survive, he said. I came home to live. To give my son a place with windows he can see out of. A father who doesn't hide the cracks. But this town, this system, let one person twist protection into a weapon. The VA waits months for claims. The county rushes liens on veterans, but drags its feet on everything else. Henderson promises jobs that pay scraps while they buy up whole blocks for warehouses nobody asked for. He looked at the faces around him. Neighbors, strangers, people who'd crossed the street when he first walked into town. You watched, he said. Some of you looked away, some whispered, but a few of you showed up today. Mrs. Delgado fought for my son in that hallway. Gerald gave me work when no one else would. Mara Voss, he glanced at her. She stood tall, eyes locked on his. She remembered my name when I was bleeding out in the desert. She's been standing with me since I stepped off that bus. Jack turned back to the camera. I'm not asking for pity. I'm asking for eyes open. If this can happen to me, a Purple Heart, 2-tour honorable discharge, it can happen to any veteran who comes home hurting, to any parent trying to hold on, to any kid who just wants to feel safe. His voice cracked once, small, human. Liam is 5. He draws houses with no doors because he's afraid we'll lose this one. He flinches when doors slam because he's learned the world can take things without asking. Don't let that be the lesson he carries. Silence hung thick. Then Mrs. Delgado stepped forward, voice shaking but clear. I saw the boy today. Quiet tears, not screaming, just trusting it would end. We can't let this stand. Gerald moved beside her. I've lived here 50 years. Never seen the county move this fast unless money was talking. More voices joined. A woman in the back called out, "We're with you, Jack." The reporter lowered the mic slightly. "Mr. Harlan, what do you want people to do?" Jack looked at her, then past her at the courthouse doors. "I want the emergency removal vacated. Today, I want the guardianship petition thrown out. I want the lien stayed until we can pay it fair. And I want an investigation into how my aunt used intimidation to force a sale." He paused, looked into the lens one last time. "And if you're watching this, veteran, parent, neighbor, ask yourself, what would you do if they came for your kid, for your home, for your fight to just breathe?" He handed the mic back. The reporter stared, then turned to camera. "You heard him. We're staying live as this develops." Jack stepped back. Mara's hand found his brief squeeze. Rebecca was already on her phone, motioning to the bailiff inside. The crowd didn't disperse. They stayed. Phones uploaded. Comments flew. The video started spreading before Jack even reached Mara's truck. Inside the cab, Liam's absence pressed like a weight on his chest. Mara started the engine. Rebecca's filing the motion now. "Judge Hayes is being pulled in for an emergency review. We'll get him back." Jack nodded, stared out at the rain-slick street. His phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. A single photo. Liam in the courthouse waiting room, sitting alone. Camel in lap, looking small. Under it, one line. "You win the battle, we win the war." Jack deleted it. Didn't shake. He looked at Mara. "Drive," he said. They pulled away from the courthouse. Behind them, the crowd grew. Signs appeared, handwritten, Sharpie on cardboard. "Keep Liam home. Stop Henderson. Veterans deserve better." The video was already hitting local Facebook groups, then statewide veteran pages, then national. Jack closed his eyes. Felt the scar on his temple throb, not with fear, with purpose. By the time they reached Mara's house, Rebecca called with 2 words that stopped Jack's heart. "They're bringing him home tonight, but only if you agree to a supervised visit from Val tomorrow morning. And she's already on her way to your porch with a new set of papers and a smile that says she still thinks she can win." Jack stood on his own porch at 9:02 the next morning. The new steps held firm under his weight. Mara waited beside him, arms crossed, eyes on the street. Rebecca Klein sat inside at the kitchen table, laptop open, recording app running discreetly on her phone. The house smelled of fresh coffee and the faint pine of yesterday's rain-soaked lumber. Liam had come home last night just after 8. A caseworker dropped him off, no apology, no explanation. Only a clipboard signature and a clipped supervised visitation tomorrow, 9 a.m. sharp. "Miss Mercer, your residence." Liam had walked straight into Jack's arms, buried his face in his father's shirt, and stayed there until sleep took him. No words, just holding on. Now the silver SUV rolled to the curb. Engine idled a moment longer than necessary. Val stepped out in khakis and a cream blouse, professional, composed. She carried a small gift bag and the same manila folder from before. No lawyer this time, just her. Jack didn't move from the top step. Val stopped at the bottom, looked up. "Morning, Jack. Liam ready?" "He's inside," Jack said, flat. "Rebecca's here, recording. Any deviation from supervised visitation and we file immediately." Val's smile was thin. "I'm here to see my nephew, not cause trouble." Mara stepped forward half a pace, then come up. Slowly, Val climbed the steps, paused at the door, looked at Mara. "You're the medic," she said, not a question. Mara didn't answer, just opened the screen door. Inside, Liam sat at the kitchen table, Camel beside his elbow. A fresh sheet of paper in front of him, 3 figures, a house with 2 windows now, a small door cracked open. He looked up when Val entered, didn't smile, didn't flinch, just watched. Val set the gift bag on the table. "Brought you something, sweetheart." Liam glanced at it, didn't touch. Jack pulled out a chair for Val, sat across from her. Mara leaned against the counter, arms folded. Rebecca stayed silent, eyes on her screen. Val opened the bag. Pulled out a small toy truck, red, shiny new. "Thought you might like this, for playing." Liam looked at the truck, then at Jack. Jack nodded once, permission. Liam reached out, took it, rolled it back and forth on the table. Slow, deliberate. No sound. Val cleared her throat. I'm glad you're home safe, Liam. I was worried. Liam kept rolling the truck. Eyes down, Val turned to Jack. The magistrate wants this resolved, quietly. I'm willing to withdraw the guardianship if you reconsider the sale. Henderson's up the offer, $150 now. You'd clear the taxes, have enough for a deposit on a place in Cedar Rapids. Liam could start fresh. Better schools. Therapists nearby. Jack's voice stayed even. You're offering money to make your intimidation go away. I'm offering a way out of this mess you've made public. Rebecca looked up. The mess is on record now, Miss Mercer. The video from yesterday has over 200,000 views statewide. National veteran organizations are reaching out. The county treasurer's office is already reviewing the lien acceleration for procedural errors. Val's smile faltered. You think a viral video changes facts. The house is still falling down. The boy's still withdrawn. Jack's still what? Jack cut in. Still hurting, still fighting. Still refusing to let you profit off my mother's house and my son's fear. Val leaned forward. Voice dropped. I'm trying to save him from you. You think you're protecting him by staying in this wreck. He draws boxes because he feels trapped. Because you won't let go. Liam's truck stopped rolling. He looked up. At Val, then at Jack. Quiet, small. I don't feel trapped, he said. First full sentence in weeks. Clear, steady. I feel safe with Daddy. The room went still. Val's face drained of color. Liam pushed the toy truck toward her. Gentle, not angry. I don't want the truck, he said. I want my house with the window. Jack felt something break open inside, not pain but release. He reached across the table, took Liam's hand, held it. Val stared at the boy, then at the drawing, the cracked door, the three figures. She stood slowly. Chair scraped back. I see, she said, voice thin. Rebecca spoke without looking up from her laptop. The withdrawal of the guardianship petition needs to be filed by end of day. We'll expect confirmation. Val looked at Jack one last time. I thought I was doing the right thing, she said. Almost a whisper. You thought you were doing the easy thing, Jack answered. Val picked up the folder, left the toy truck on the table, walked to the door. Mara opened it for her. No words. Val stepped out, paused on the porch. I'm sorry, she said to Liam, not Jack. Then she walked down the steps, got in the SUV, drove away. The door closed. Liam looked at Jack. Is she gone for good? Jack knelt. She's gone from trying to take you. We'll see what she does next, but you're staying right here. Liam nodded, picked up his crayon, added another line to the door, opened wider. Mara crouched beside him. That's a good door, Liam. Let's light in. Liam smiled, small, real. Jack stood, walked to the window, watched the SUV disappear around the corner. His phone buzzed, text from Gerald. Hardware stores got a full-time opening now. Benefits. You in? Jack typed back. Yes. He looked at Mara. She met his eyes. Rebecca closed her laptop. I'll file the motion to dismiss the removal order. Should be rubber-stamped by afternoon. The harassment claim against Val, we can pursue if you want. Or let it drop now that Liam's home. Jack looked at his son, coloring again, humming softly. Let it drop, he said. For now, we've got enough fights. Rebecca nodded, packed her things, left quietly. Mara stayed. Jack walked her to the door later, after Liam had fallen asleep on the couch, truck forgotten on the table. You heading back? He asked. Mara shook her head. Not yet. Porch needs painting. And I think Liam could use a story tonight. Jack looked at her, felt the shift again, something settling, solid. You don't have to keep staying, he said. I know. She stepped closer. But I want to. Jack reached out. Touched her cheek, light, tentative. She didn't pull away. They stood there in the doorway. Afternoon light slanting across the floorboards. The house creaked softly around them, old, patched, still standing. That evening, as Jack read Liam a story about rocket ships and stars, a knock came at the back door, quiet, insistent. And when Jack opened it, Gerald stood there holding a thick envelope stamped, property tax payment plan approved, along with a single sentence from the county treasurer. Your 90-day stay just became permanent. Don't waste it. Jack opened the back door to find Gerald standing on the porch, raincoat dripping from the afternoon shower that had just passed. The older man held a thick manila envelope in one hand and a small toolbox in the other. He didn't smile, just lifted the envelope slightly. County treasurer's office dropped this by the store an hour ago, Gerald said. Said to make sure you got it personal. Jack took the envelope, heavy, official seal stamped across the flap. He tore it open carefully. Inside, a single sheet of letterhead, followed by a payment plan agreement and a notarized extension notice. The letter was brief. Mr. Harlan, pursuant to your application and supporting documentation, including recent community support affidavits and employment verification, the 90-day auction stay on the subject property is hereby converted to an indefinite deferral. Back taxes may be paid in 36 monthly installments at 0 interest. Full payment plan attached. Congratulations on retaining your home. Jack read it twice. The words blurred once on the second pass, not from rain, but from something warmer pressing behind his eyes. Gerald shifted his weight. Figured you might need help framing that new window you talked about putting in the boys' room. Brought the miter saw and some trim. Jack looked up. You didn't have to give you the job either, but here we are. Jack stepped aside. Come in. The house felt different already. Not fixed, not even close. The water stain still bloomed on the ceiling like a bruise fading slow. The basement walls still wept when it rained, but the air moved easier. Doors didn't stick quite as much. The porch steps held without groaning. Liam was in the living room, sitting cross-legged on the rug. Crayons scattered around him. He'd drawn a new picture that afternoon. The house from the street, windows lit yellow, door wide open, 3 figures on the porch, tall, medium, small, holding hands. No box, no trap. When Gerald entered, Liam looked up. Hi, Mr. Gerald. Gerald tipped an imaginary hat. Afternoon, soldier. Heard you got your house back for good. Liam nodded, serious. Daddy said we're staying. Gerald set the toolbox down. Damn right. Jack knelt beside Liam, showed him the letter. See this? It means no more auction, no more worrying about losing the house. We pay a little each month like rent, but it's ours. Liam traced the county seal with his finger. Forever, Jack swallowed. As long as we want it to be. Liam smiled full, unguarded, the kind that costs nothing when you're 5 and believe the grown-ups. Mara appeared in the doorway from the kitchen, sleeves rolled up, paint flecks on her forearms from priming the hallway earlier. She saw the envelope, saw Jack's face. Good news, she asked. Jack handed her the letter. She read it. Her shoulders dropped half an inch, the first visible release of tension he'd seen in weeks. She looked at him. You did it. We did it, he corrected. Gerald cleared his throat. I'll get the ladder from the truck. Window kit's in the bed. Liam, you want to help measure? Liam scrambled up. Yes. They moved as a unit, quiet, efficient. Gerald and Liam measured the bedroom window frame. Mara cut trim pieces with the miter saw on the back porch. Jack carried the new double-hung window. Energy efficient, double pane, courtesy of a veteran assistance Grant Mara had quietly applied for 2 weeks earlier. By dusk, they had it installed, the old single pane gone. Fresh caulk sealing the edges, white trim crisp against the patched drywall. Jack opened the sash. Cool evening air flowed in clean, carrying the smell of wet earth and distant bonfires. Liam stood on a stool, nose almost to the glass. It's big. Jack lifted him so he could reach the handle. You can open it whenever you want. Let the light in, let the air in. Liam pushed the window wider. Wind ruffled his hair. He laughed, soft, surprised. Mara stepped beside them. Looks good, Jack looked at her. Looks like a start. Gerald packed his tools. I'll leave the saw, bring it back when you're done with the rest of the trim. He paused at the door, looked at Jack. Your mom would have been proud, he said. Simple, true. Jack nodded, couldn't speak for a moment. Gerald left. The house settled into evening quiet. Liam insisted on sleeping in his own bed tonight. Jack tucked him in under the new window. Moonlight slanted across the blanket. Liam clutched the camel, but loosely, hands open, trusting the dark. Jack sat on the edge of the mattress, brushed hair from Liam's forehead. You don't have to be quiet anymore, he said. Or tough, or small. You can be whatever you are. Loud. Scared, happy, mad, all of it. Liam looked up. Even if I cry, especially if you cry. Liam nodded, closed his eyes. Within minutes, breathing evened, hands relaxed. For the first time since the bus ride home, he slept without clutching anything. Jack stayed a while longer, watching the rise and fall of his son's chest, listening to the house breathe around them, creaks, sighs, the faint drip of the upstairs faucet he still hadn't fixed. Downstairs, Mara waited on the couch, 2 mugs of tea steaming on the coffee table. She'd lit a single lamp, warm circle of light. Jack sat beside her, close enough their shoulders touched. You staying tonight? He asked. She looked at him. If you want me to, I do. She set her mug down, turned to face him fully. I'm not here to fix you, Jack. I know. I'm here because I want to be here, with you, with him, cracks and all. Jack reached out, took her hand. This time-laced fingers held. I'm scared, he admitted. Quiet, honest. Not of the war anymore, of this, of letting someone in, of losing again. Mara squeezed his hand. I'm scared too, lost a patient, lost pieces of myself. But I'm not running from this one. They sat in the quiet, tea cooled, lamp flickered once. Jack leaned in, slow, gave her time to pull away. She didn't. Their kiss was gentle, careful, not desperate, not fireworks. Just 2 people choosing to stay in the same room, same light. When they parted, foreheads resting together, Jack whispered, Thank you for seeing me. Mara smiled against his skin. Thank you for letting me. Later, they walked to the front porch, new railing solid under their hands, stars sharp overhead. The street light on the corner still flickered, same as always, but the house behind them had windows now. Light spilled out soft, steady. Jack looked at Mara. Tomorrow we paint the trim, he said. Tomorrow we paint, she agreed. They stood there, shoulder to shoulder, watching the night. Inside, Liam slept with the window open. Curtains moving in the breeze, hands open, dreaming. The light stayed on in the house at the end of Elm Street. It wasn't perfect. It was enough. The end. If this story moved you, if it reminded you of someone fighting silent battles, or made you angry at how systems can fail the people who served, share it. Drop a comment. What's the one sentence someone said to you that changed everything? Or the one you wish you'd heard? Tell me what you'd do in Jack's place. Would you have signed? Would you have fought louder? Hit like if you believe homes matter more than warehouses. Share if you know someone who needs to hear they've already survived enough. Subscribe to Millionaire CEO Stories for more real fights, real comebacks, real hearts. Thank you for staying until the end. We're still here, still standing, windows open.